Seth and I have been best friends for the past 8 years. And while we have some interests and hobbies that overlap, for the most part, we enjoy very different things. We're not pros, we're just fanboys. Fanboys, the podcast where we catch you up on what we care about. I'm Joe.
I'm Seth.
And welcome to episode 9.5. This is part 2 of our discussion with Bradley Johnson. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, what are you doing? Go listen to that one.
Then you can come back here. What are you doing starting on an episode with that has a 0.5 in it? You should know there's one before this.
And furthermore, this is episode 9. There's been 9 episodes, guys. Go back and listen to all of them.
You rowdy rascals trying to skip ahead. I see right through your tricks.
You're not going to know the complex and developed plot of this podcast if you don't know all the inner workings of the story we're telling. I mean, in episode 6, we have the huge character arc of Seth, where he discovers something true about himself. Come on, guys.
And then in episode 7, Seth makes a tenuous connection to the human experience. It's a really unique time in our podcast history.
Isn't that every episode?
Shh. They don't know that yet. They haven't gone back and watched. Then they can do that, and then you can make fun jokes like we can. We
like to kick off each episode with the 5 questions. Those questions are: what are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you playing? What are you wearing? And what are you reading? So, Seth.
Yes, Joe.
What are you watching?
This week, I've been watching a little underground anime show called Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't know if you've heard of it. I don't know.
You mean one of my top 2 favorite TV shows of all time?
Yeah, I don't know if you own all the DVDs or anything. I don't know. Maybe random. But it's back on Netflix, baby, and we're loving it.
Baby, it's back.
We back in it. I've seen the first 4 episodes now. I mean, I've seen the whole show multiple times before, but I'm 4 episodes back into it, and I'm loving all the people. I love me some Katara. I love me some Sokka. I forgot how good Sokka is at throwing a boomerang. It's like actually really impressive to the point where he's like on par with the powers and abilities of the other people just because he's so good at throwing a boomerang. It makes his character so much more interesting. I'm really loving Sokka this time around.
That's awesome. A little humble brag, but I'm almost done rewatching it, sir.
Yeah, I'm just a deeply responsible person with many things to do in my life, like a lot of YouTube videos to watch and some TikToks to make. So, I watched it in my downtime to unwind after my long day of watching other things.
Other content.
Speaking of watching...
I've been.
Sorry. I was just trying to segue over here. Just a guy trying to segue. I understand.
But I just committed like a week's worth of time on rewatching this beloved show, and I want to give my 2 cents as well.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll allow it.
So I've been watching the show too, and I've also been really loving Sokka. But golly, gosh, diggity, gee willikers, I always kind of forget until I literally watch an episode that Iroh is my favorite character.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Golly gee. First off, if you haven't seen Avatar, what are you doing? Go watch it right now.
We'll do a whole episode.
It's okay if you pause the podcast right now, go watch the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then come back and finish the podcast. We understand.
It's only 3 seasons, which is wild in today's day of content. Like...
It is, again, we'll do a whole episode on this, but it is the perfect show.
Yes.
It is the perfect show. Absolutely. But yeah, so Iroh is the mentor of the villain of the show, Zuko. And
But is he the villain?
But is he? I don't want to do that. But he's this wise mentor who's trying to help Zuko learn more about his identity and like his true inner self. And he's just this perfect blend of comedic relief and like wise sage, and it's so perfect.
Yeah,
he's just the perfect character. I'm not going to give spoilers as to what it is, but I got to the trees leaves from the vine episode, and I cried so hard.
Yep, will cry every time.
Every gosh darn time. It kills me.
Yep. Perfect show. So what imperfect thing are you watching, Joe? Obviously, I won this segment. Points to me in our ranking system.
So, I've been watching Avatar with Anna. That's kind of our like eat dinner and sit on the couch and watch the show together, binge the heck out of it. But on my own time, when I should be doing probably responsible things, I have been going through Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the animated show that started on Cartoon Network and now is on Disney Plus, and actually got a final 7th season from Disney Plus. And Seth, I gotta say, it is really good. It's really good. So for anyone who doesn't know, the story takes place between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. It's all about Anakin finding a Padawan. He finds this girl. He adopts her as his Padawan. He starts training her, even though he is still a Padawan to Obi-Wan. It's kind of complex how the council allows this to happen, but anyways, it does. And so you get to see a lot more of Anakin as truly a good guy, and it's a much more gradual descent into him becoming Darth Vader. I think a lot of people will agree it tells pretty much the same story as the movies, but it does it in such a gradual and smooth way that it feels more I don't want to say understood, because I mean he kills children and all this stuff.
Yes.
But like you see his slow descent, whereas the movies are just like, oh, he's had a few bad dreams and he's a bad guy now.
Right. It makes it maybe more tragic, his fall, rather than like horrific that he just like suddenly goes off the deep end. It's more like, oh, he was so good and now he's fallen from grace, and it makes the story a sad one rather than like a upsetting one.
Right. And so the first big thing that I noted from watching the show, when I started watching the show back when it first came out on Cartoon Network, I think I watched a few episodes and gave up on it, mainly because I didn't really like the animation style. It seemed too rigid, and it just wasn't jiving with me. But this time around, I've only watched what the internet has deemed like the most essential episodes. And so it's like just a few episodes of the first season, and then you watch a bunch of like episodes between season 1 through 4, and then by 4 you're watching the rest of it. So 1 through 3 is just like the essential stuff, but you really see that the animators really started to understand how to make cheap CG look good, especially with these characters. And so whereas before it was very like rigid and box-like, they kind of treat it more as like it almost seems like Van Gogh-ish, where you see like brushstrokes on the characters, the skin tones, you see like lines on their faces that almost look like brushes. It looks very painterly, the show, and I really appreciate that, and it's a really cool animation style, and I love how they kind of figured that out as the show went on, and now it looks like it could potentially be timeless. I could come back and watch the show again in the future and still really enjoy it.
That's the mark of a good show. That's Avatar, even though the technology that they were using when animating Avatar is nothing compared to animation technology now. That show I would describe as timeless. You can come back to that style and technique over and over again. Clone Wars isn't painted though, right? It's all computer models.
It's all complete, CG animation. It's just, boxes. But the way they went about creating the character models and the backdrops, it has this illusion that it's painted. It's really
That's
cool.
such a clever idea. I love that a lot.
Yeah. The other thing that really stood out to me is we kind of talked about this in our Star Wars episode. Again, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch. It was a good conversation. But we kind of talked about how the Star Wars stories really seem to flourish in a TV setting. Sometimes more so than the movies. Again, the movies are fantastic, but there's something about these short 20 to 30 minute episodes where, one, you see them experimenting more and taking risks that I felt like, especially the sequel trilogy, was maybe a little too afraid to make.
Totally.
For example, there's one like series of episodes in season 4 where Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka get magically transported into what is essentially the planet that is a physical manifestation of the Force, and they encounter the characters are just called the father, the son, and the daughter. And the father is like the physical manifestation. He's like a god, and he is a physical manifestation of the galaxy itself.
Okay.
And then the son is the Sith, and the daughter is the Jedi.
Sure.
And so it's treated almost like this like it's treated like this mythological lore, like you know, it sounds stupid on paper, like, oh, they went and found the people that are the Force, but it's handled in such a tasteful way where, like, they're both the daughter and the son are trying to take control of Anakin and convince him that he needs to be the chosen one for them. And you kind of see the Sith's justifications for their actions, and you see some of the Jedi's like blind ignorance to the problems of the world and not really wanting to do anything about it because it goes against their ways. It's really interesting.
That is so interesting. This is a tangential conversation, but that's a place I would have loved to see, like, Luke Skywalker going there in the sequel trilogy and struggling with that more than maybe some of the things that happened in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. It's super, super interesting. I might talk about it more later, but we got to move on. Seth, what are you listening to?
So this week, I've been throwing it back. It's not like my behind, but sometimes when I listen to this song, I am throwing it back nostalgia-wise. I've been listening to Good Time, the song by Carly Rae Jepsen and Owl City. Kind of only that this week. It's been my whole soundtrack. It's a good bop. It's a feel good song. We're hitting sort of that like middle of spring, end of spring, early summer time, and so the weather's creeping up into the 70s and 80s. It's shorts and t-shirts weather, and that's just kind of the best song to drive around your city in your car,
really is.
Windows down. It just makes you feel so good about life.
Totally. I love both of their voices and just the vibe they give in their music. I wish they did more together because that single is just fantastic.
It's amazing. Yeah. I mean,
you know, there are plenty of, you know, windows rolled down, just driving through town kind of songs, but something about that one just like, you know, it just takes me back to being in the car with you, you know, driving somewhere in high school, being goofy and like, you know, carefree, just wanting to have a good time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that song came out either our junior or senior year of high school, and so it's totally that time for me of like, you know, you're exploring your freedom for the first time, and you're just like getting out there, the world's your oyster. It throws me right back to that, and that's been really nice, and especially in this pandemic time as things are starting to open back up, that feels like a safe thing to do. Just like me in my car by myself, driving around, having a good time. I can feel that like sense of like reopening, getting out of the house without like putting other people's lives at risk.
Totally.
What have you been listening to, Joe?
Well, today has been beautiful. It's been a beautiful day today. But unfortunately, this whole week has been super doom and gloom. It's been raining nonstop and gray clouds and just downer moods, which has been bringing me down. And so whenever I start getting down in the dumps, I love to just listen to musicals and just belt in my car when I'm doing stuff. And one of my favorite musicals to just let my heart out singing is Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also one of my favorites.
Yes, there are so many songs in that that I like to think are in my range that I can just sing so strong and have the volume up just a little bit so I can't hear my own voice.
Yep, and I do the same thing.
And just feel so like I'm on stage. I feel powerful. I can do anything. This weather doesn't matter.
It's totally like a musical's musical. It is, if that makes sense. It's like it just leans into all of the musical theater stereotypes. And so anytime you're singing along to it, you feel like the spotlight's on you and you're Evan Hansen. And it's like, this is your big moment. It's so cool.
Yeah. And there's no other song on the soundtrack that's as like, waving through a window. Waving through a window. It's just I get to go into my falsetto at times and feel like a musical god. Again, having the volume a little loud so I can't hear myself.
Yeah. And you're listening to it at exactly the right time. This is the end of May or early June.
Yep.
A picture perfect afternoon.
That's in the third track. That's not in Waving Through a Window.
No, but it's in the musical that you said is the thing you're listening to.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. It's just like that.
That's a valid point.
It's a valid point, but we were anyways. But yeah, I've been having a blast listening to it again. If you're a musical lover, I highly recommend the album. It is a bit of a bummer, but the music is just it's just
one quick note. If you are going to listen to it, I would have a plot synopsis close by. Unlike other musicals, or musical soundtracks, it's pretty short. There aren't that many songs in the show, and they don't necessarily weave the narrative together for you.
Yeah.
There are some important scenes in that show that are strictly spoken.
Yep.
And so you just might want to look up what's happening plot-wise between the songs. It'll make it make a little more sense to you, and then you'll be able to love the songs all the better.
Yeah, I highly agree. It's not like Hamilton, where the entire thing is almost like an opera and you get the whole story in the music. It jumps around just like you said. Yeah. Seth.
Yes.
What have you been playing?
So this week I have been playing the Spyro Reignited trilogy. It's the first Spyro game was one of my favorite games as a kid. And in 2018, I think Activision released an updated remaster.
Yeah.
Reimagining almost. Well, not reimagining. It's the same levels. But of the first three Spyro games. Updated graphics, a little better performance, and so built so that it can run on this generation of consoles. I had it for the PlayStation 1, and now I'm playing it on the PlayStation 4. And so it's been a really fun treat to look at the same game, but it's been 15 years longer.
Yeah.
The first Spyro came out in 98, 99. It's been more than 20 years actually since these two games came out, and then certainly a long time since I played the first one for the first time. And so it's a big nostalgia bender for me this week. That's been great.
Yeah, I've been wanting to pick it up myself, but I just have had other things to play. I was curious. I know that they made a lot of small subtle changes to gameplay and how it, obviously the look. I'm wondering if you like those changes versus the original game.
Yeah, so obviously the original game is something that I spent hundreds of hours playing with my brother, and so it's kind of burned into my memory in a certain way. And so when I first started playing the Reignited trilogy, I didn't like it. I was like, this feels weird and different. This is not the game I grew up with. And I even felt like, they took my childhood thing and they ruined it. That it's a common first reaction to a remaster of anything, I think. But then as I got into it, I was able to sort of change my perspective and think of it as a new way to experience one of my favorite franchises.
Right.
And that's been great. It's, you know, a lot of the changes they made, they had to make so that it would so that it would fit in the, you know, the current generation of consoles ecosystem, because you wouldn't necessarily want to be running a game with PlayStation 1 graphics in the year 2020, and that maybe would have been more disappointing for me.
Sure.
You know, to see this game be like, oh man, my favorite game looks really bad.
I just spent $40 on a game and it looks just like what I had 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have probably made me sadder. So it's given me a new, different appreciation for one of my favorite video games of all time.
That's
so
awesome.
I highly recommend picking it up. I know it's also on the Switch.
Yes.
Which I have not experimented with that, but I hear it's pretty good. There's a whole big speedrunning community now based around the Reignited trilogies, which is cool. There's some different tricks that you can do in those games. It's a fun time. I highly recommend.
That's awesome.
What have you been playing, Joe?
Well, Seth, are you familiar with this obscure title? I'm not sure many people have heard of it, but Fortnite?
Yeah, I think I've heard of Fortnite. It's been about 2 weeks.
Oh. Seth.
Yeah, Joe. I've heard of Fortnite.
Seth.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the last episode of the Lonely Fanboys. Thank you so much for listening. But Fortnite is produced by a company called Epic Games, and because of the explosion that Fortnite has been, they decided to create a online store similar to like Steam, or for those not in the gaming world, kind of like the Apple Store, right? Where it's got a ton of products that you can purchase and download right off their store. Well, lately, to bring more people to them from Steam, they've actually been giving away games like 2 to 3 on a monthly basis for free. Just completely free.
Wild.
And you don't need a subscription. You don't need anything. You just set up an account and they just give you games for free. And up until this point, it's just been like mostly indie titles, which are like $10 to $15 max, which I mean, still like
free game is free game.
Free game is free game. And that's been great. But they just kicked off their huge summer sale a week ago, and they gave away Grand Theft Auto 5, the premium edition, completely free. Just completely free.
And the premium edition.
The premium edition. Everything's in it. You can play online. They actually gave you, I think, like X amount of credits to play the game online. Just
That's
from the get-go.
amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I hadn't played Grand Theft Auto 5 since I had it on the PlayStation 3 when it first came out. And so I've been having a blast going back and playing some of the missions, going through the story. And I forgot how funny the story is. Just because the fourth game, Grand Theft Auto 4, was all about like this dude coming from Russia and like trying to make a name for himself and doing anything he could to make that happen. Grand Theft Auto 5 is like 3 dudes who just are like bad people and aren't really doing anything about it. And they all handle that in different ways. Like,
cool.
Like one of them justifies their actions as like he's bad, but he's doing it to get out of a bad neighborhood. One of them is doing bad things because he misses his 20s of when he could rob people and just have a good time.
Don't we all?
And then the third one is just like a coked out maniac who like is unapologetic for anything he does and is just insane. And so you're like, it's bizarre how unlikable these characters are, but you're still invested in helping them accomplish their goals. It's wild.
That is wild. It also kind of makes me want to get the Epic Games Store and get GTA 5, which I know is what they want.
Right.
That's what they want me to do, but darn it, it's going to work.
And I'm gonna do it. I don't feel bad for it. I mean, it's not like I'm not going to keep getting games on Steam. I don't feel like they're like I'm being tricked into something. I just feel like I'm taking advantage of a free thing. Why not? So if you want to take advantage of a free thing, download the Epic Game Store. This is not a sponsored thing. It's just, hey, I like free stuff. Go get it.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's worth it for them because Fortnite literally prints money.
Right.
Like, Epic Games has more money than they know what to do with, and so it's probably worth it for them to give away a AAA title just to get people to download their little storefront.
Right.
Like, that's totally worth it from their company's perspective. So, everybody benefits. It's a win-win-win all around.
Yeah, definitely. So, Seth.
Yes.
Seth.
Yes?
Seth.
This is the fourth question. This isn't normally
Seth,
where this
Seth,
happens,
Seth.
but I think I know what's coming.
Seth.
It's Joe's singing break.
Seth.
Joe's a metal singer.
What are you wearing?
Oh, that was so pleasant of you to ask me that way.
Well, I did like the weird, gross guttural singing. I thought I'd go easy on you.
You front loaded it, so I appreciate that.
No problem.
Today I have on a T-shirt from the baseball team, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, which is an actual organization. They're a minor league baseball team based in Texas. They were scheduled to start playing in 2020, but that's not happening.
Like it was their first season?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
That's so sad.
It is very sad. Hey guys, the coronavirus thing is bad. This whole thing is bad, actually. In case you didn't know.
Hot take, Seth.
But specifically because the Rocket City Trash Pandas can't play baseball right now. They started their branding in 2018, I think, like the holiday season in 2018, which was a very smart move because before they'd ever played a single game, I guess they still haven't played a single game, but like before they'd even like finished building their stadium, they sold like a couple $1 million worth of merchandise.
Wow. I mean, great name. I kind of get it, but
right. Well, and that's why it's like totally taking advantage of the internet calling raccoons trash pandas, and raccoons are my favorite animals.
Yep.
And I'm a baseball fan, and so is my dad. So my dad for Christmas, I think in 2018, got me this shirt, and I love it. It's also so comfortable. Ooh. It's like it's cotton, but it's like stretchy cotton, and it has some of that like sweat wicking stuff. It's like a halfway athletic shirt. So I had some like work and some cleaning stuff to do today, and it's kind of warm here today, so I was like, I'll throw on my Trash Panda shirt. And then I've got like blue athletic shorts and some athletic socks on. I'm really sporty today.
You're so sporty. Look at you.
I know. I'm gonna go pro in the no sports that there are right now. Still sad about that. Oh. We did our one sports episode and then sports were done forever. What are you wearing, Joe?
Well, like I said, it has been a beautiful, beautiful day outside, and so I just threw on a little striped T-shirt. It's maroon and I think it's a blue. I think I'd call this a blue. Yeah. And it's comfortable, just like you. Nothing fancy. I thought I'd just have like a chill, not fashion focused episode. You know, I thought I'd just play it chill. Thought I'd just be cool.
You're such a cool guy.
I'm just such a cool podcast. I'm such a cool podcaster.
So cool.
Oh yeah. Welcome to the Lonely Fanboys, the cool podcast for cool listeners. I'm your cool Joe. Cool.
Oh, what do you do for a living?
Ooh.
I'm a podcaster.
Ooh, don't worry about it.
Ooh, and when I'm not podcasting, I'm delivery driving. That's true. That's true for both of us.
Living the dream.
Yeah. So anyway, we're thinking about opening up a Patreon if you just want to send some money. We're not starting a Patreon, but if we should start a Patreon, you should comment or just send me money. I'll take that too.
So, Seth.
Yeah.
There's a reason I skipped one of the questions.
Oh, you know what, Joe? It's fine. I didn't even notice, actually. We can just... I'm cool. Joe, I'm cool to skip it. I'm so cool to skip it.
Did you not read too?
Wait, you didn't read?
Wait, what question did you think I meant?
I thought you just skipped the reading one and you were going to go back to it. But you didn't read anything?
No.
Well, no, that's okay. I didn't read anything either.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm moving in a week. I can't read. I have to watch Avatar.
I'm watching Avatar.
Yeah.
I can't read.
How can possibly read? So we didn't read this week anything. So we thought about what we could do. We decided we're going to completely rip off the McElroy brothers and do one of their bits because whatever.
It's one they haven't done in a while.
Yeah.
So maybe they've scrapped it.
Maybe.
And we'll take their dregs and turn it into our content.
So what we're talking about, we're going to do a little bit where we each independently looked up Amazon products, specifically Legos, because we're talking about Legos this week. And we looked for the funniest 1-star, 3-star, and 5-star reviews of that product. And we're going to read them out loud to the other person. And the other person has to guess what product we're talking about.
And you can play along at home, too, except we can't hear you because we recorded this a couple days ago. So
leave your guesses in the comments, and we'll let you know if you're right, or you can wait 5 seconds.
Yeah. Who should go first, Joe?
Here, I'll flip a coin.
Cool.
Okay,
cool.
okay. Audio-based podcast, flipping a coin. Heads or tails, Seth?
Heads.
You're wrong.
I feel like you faked that because I can't see it.
Nope, the coin's right here, Seth.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's got the same face on both sides. So I'm gonna go first.
Cool.
Okay. So I know this one's a little vague, but I thought, it's the perfect one.
Oh, okay.
For the product. I will also give you. I will give you the price and the pieces count. Just because I'm feeling a little salty, feeling a little saucy, and so confident that you're still not going to guess this.
Yeah, I believe it. Okay.
Okay, so this product is $80, and it contains 468 pieces.
Okay.
The first review is a 1-star, and it is titled "Good." Description: got the item.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Glad we got it.
1 star, good.
Yep.
Got the item.
Yeah. Okay. That's it? That's the review?
That's the whole review.
Cool. Okay, it's $80.
Okay, what do you think it is? What's your first guess?
I think it's a box. Somebody bought a vintage Lego box.
No.
And there's
for
no
$80? You think someone spent $80 on a box? I mean, maybe.
Amazon's a weird place.
Okay, you are incorrect. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
sorry. Okay, this one's 3 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
Title is "It's okay."
And this is the same item.
This is the same product.
Okay.
Still $80. Still 468 pieces.
Oh, you said the piece. There's a pieces count. It couldn't have been a box.
Yes.
Dumb.
3 out of 5 stars. It's okay. Not a big display once it's set up. Not what I expected. Very, very small. The pics advertised make it look grand. Even their measurements are off. But my daughter enjoyed it.
I had a guess right up until my daughter enjoyed it. I'm still gonna go with what I thought.
Okay,
though.
okay.
It's something you display. I think it's a Lego nativity scene. Are you laughing because I'm exactly right?
No!
Oh.
What? When is a nativity set too small? I've seen plenty of like tiny nativity. Do you think like a Lego set that you like display on your lawn?
Yeah,
like a full nativity set out of Legos.
Yeah, and somebody took some like really impressive pictures of it to make it look really big, and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, this can go like right in the church narthex or something," and then they were like, "Oh no, it's for a table," and they're mad about it.
I'm sorry, it is not. It is not the nativity scene.
That's fine. Okay.
Okay. This is the last one. It comes from Becky. It is a
Becky.
5 out of 5 stars. And it says, cheaper than Lego.com.
Ooh.
This set is fantastic. We put it together as a family. And the only downside was that the instruction booklet, in an effort to be classy, in parentheses, which it does, close parentheses, has the instructions on a black background, making the black pieces incredibly difficult to see.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
We managed to get everything together properly, and I love having this finished set on display. It makes me happy every time I look at it. Plus, it's several dollars cheaper on Amazon than on the LEGO website. But you don't get the VIP points for buying it on Amazon. Ha!
Well, this person seems very well connected in the LEGO world. The clues that I've picked up are that it's small and has black pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna guess it's a road. It's a long road.
That's just smaller than people expected.
Yeah.
I am sorry. Is that your final answer?
That's that I don't have any more ideas.
The answer is, this was from the LEGO Architecture London Skyline.
Oh, I wondered if it was a LEGO Architecture set.
Yes.
Shoot.
Yes.
I've heard that those are small,
Yes.
in fact.
1 star, got the item.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm so upset that this showed up at my house after I paid $80 for it.
1 star. 1 star. I got exactly what I ordered.
That's what a wild place the Amazon reviews are. Are you ready for your first item?
Yes.
Okay, I do not have a count. I can tell you that this thing does cost $16.75.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm gonna go in reverse order of the stars.
Reverse. So you're starting at 5.
I'm starting at 5
Okay,
stars.
I am ready.
It's our 5-star review coming to us from Catherine. Catherine says, I think that this product is very interesting.
Ooh.
My son really likes it because he finally found a way to keep his spare Lego pieces where he could find them easily.
Is that the whole thing?
That's the whole thing. 5 stars.
Okay, I'm gonna guess it's some kind of bin, like a container. So I'm gonna say like a Lego storage set.
Makes a lot of sense. It is not a Lego storage set.
Oh.
It's nothing of the sort,
What?
actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
He's excited that he can store his Legos in it.
You can store your Legos with this product, correct?
Okay.
But it's not intended for storage. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
The 3-star review comes from Jennifer. Jennifer says, "Okay product for kids. My son loves it for his morning chocolate milk, but the Legos are cheap ones. FYI, it is sturdy."
So now
What are you thinking?
now I'm thinking it's like a Lego mug.
Yes.
It is?
It is in fact a Lego mug.
1 second. Could it possibly be this Lego mug?
It is that Lego mug, but in blue.
Oh, okay.
But it is in fact that Lego mug. You can store your Legos on it by sticking them to the sides of it.
Yes. And you can drink your chalky milk. So
You can drink your chocolate milk. Several reviewers have warned that it is sharp. Would you like to hear somebody that the edges can be sharp on it?
yeah, I get that. I just use it as a storage. I haven't drunk out of it yet.
It's wild that you had it though. This thing that I just looked up on Amazon.
I just got it for Christmas from the in-laws. It was a really cute stocking stuffer.
You should leave a review, Joe.
All right.
Would you like to hear somebody who did not enjoy that movie?
Absolutely.
Our 1-star review comes to us from Elena. Elena says, "Bought this as a birthday present for a 6-year-old. The product advertising said it was for 8 and up. The pictures of the kids on the marketing look like they are 6 to 8. When the product arrived, it is not as funny as the ad shows. I can't give this gift to a 6-year-old. The pieces are boring, not novelty." So just to clarify here, Elena did read that the product is intended for kids 8 and up, and has written this whole review very upset that this
and is
product
even
cannot be
more
given
mad that it says 8 and up, but the kids displayed look younger than 8 and up,
Yes.
and it's not
But-
and it's not fun.
It's not funny.
The Lego it's not funny.
Yes.
Did she look at this? Did she look at this and go,
Yeah.
"Oh,
But
the idea."
But then it arrived in person, and she was like, "Meh."
It's just a mug.
What's supposed
my
to go in
gosh.
here?
That is hilarious. Are you?
So, congratulations! You have a point.
I have a point.
You did it.
I'm the winner? Am I just
well, not yet.
What?
Yeah, let me.
Okay,
you have
fine.
Another one for me.
I'll give you a second chance.
I can tie.
Okay.
I can tie
okay.
here.
So this Lego set, it is. I gave that away already. It's a Lego set. My bad. But now you know.
Okay.
It contains $188, and it contains 464 pieces.
Ooh, according to Bradley, that's not a good conversion ratio.
No. But maybe that'll tell you something maybe about the product. Maybe it'll give you a little hint.
Okay.
So, the 1 star, I need to give a little bit of context as to why I picked this one.
Okay.
Almost every single 1 star review said that it was too small. It wasn't worth the price. It had very little pieces, and so it wasn't worth it, right? Mm-hmm. This one just says it's a 1 star, 1 out of 5 star, and it's from Pat's Fan.
Okay.
Lego products, never again. Too hard to build. I gave it to a friend. And that's 2 with the number 2. Hard, number 2 build. I gave it number 2, a friend.
Wow.
Too hard to build. I gave it to a friend.
But this one has not that many pieces for $1,000.
Yes.
Cool.
Well, for $200, but yes.
It was 100. I cannot do math. That is a good conversion ratio. I really thought you said 1,000.
No.
Okay, that's
Absolutely
why I was so
not.
surprised.
Yes.
According to Bradley, that is a good conversion ratio.
$200 for 484 pieces.
That's good. That's
okay.
acceptable. Cool.
Can you guess what it is?
It's got not enough pieces, but it's too
but
hard.
It's too hard to build.
Too fast, too furious.
Never again.
I'm gonna guess it's just like a dinosaur or something.
I am sorry, that is incorrect, my friend.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Let's move on.
Cool.
This comes from Rodrigo. He gives it 3 out of 5 stars, and he's titled it 3 stars.
Okay.
Minifigures do not look like the ones for the show. Good try, Delectors.
Okay.
I read this and I don't know what he was trying to write.
Yeah.
Because collectors doesn't make sense.
No.
But I don't know what else that could mean. Delectors. Dollectors. Delectors. Minifigures do not look like the one for the show. Good try, Delectors.
I can't even picture what that word looks like in my brain.
So based on that, what do you think this product is?
Well, not knowing what a Delector is really throwing me off.
But minifigures do not look like the ones for the show. Good try,
right.
Delectors.
See, that makes me think. Okay, I'm gonna guess it's like a Ninjago battle set.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
Ah, shoot. Okay. I was hoping like the Delectors were maybe some sort of Ninjago villain.
Okay. It is not. It is not. Okay.
Do you know that for sure?
What?
Do you know that for sure?
That it's not what the Ninjago said?
No, that the Delectors are not a Ninjago villain.
Oh, I see. I don't, I guess. I guess I don't know, but So you're ready for your last. So Seth, are you ready for your final review? This is the big one. This is the 5 stars.
I gotta get this one.
Otherwise, you lose. You lose all the marbles.
Well, I think it's your fault if I lose for not picking good reviews, but that's the tea.
Okay. I was going to cover up because they name it in this, but I'm just gonna let it happen to maybe give you a point. Because I feel sorry for you, honestly.
Oh!
So this one comes from Beverly.
I will accept your pity.
So this one comes from Beverly. It's 5 out of 5 stars, and it's titled "My Very First Lego Project. Loved It."
Oh.
Okay. So I'm a 60-year-old woman, and I've never been into Legos. However, I am a huge Big Bang Theory fan, and I just had to have this. This was the very first Lego I have ever done. I love the instruction book with a picture of each step. That is great. It took
Wow.
5 hours to put together, and it was really fun. I loved that it was relaxing, and the whole world just kind of went away while I was working on it. I think I might be a Lego fan too. Pros: easy to put together, no missing pieces. In fact, a bunch of extras. Great instructions, adorable BBT set. Cons: now I have to find another Lego project, and they're a bit pricey.
Oh yeah, they are. This one was almost $200. Bazinga!
So
To your wallet.
what do you think the product is?
I'm gonna guess it's a Big Bang Theory Lego set.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to nail it down a little more. I'm gonna guess it's like the apartment.
Yeah, you got
Big
it.
Bang Theory. Nice.
Well done.
Okay.
Well done.
Cool. Thank you. I'll take that point.
Too hard to build, gave it to friend.
That's what you get for being a Patriots fan.
Yeah. Oh my.
Ugh, football.
What? What is your final product, Seth?
Yeah, the final product. Here, we're going to go in reverse order again.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
This one.
Do I get a price?
Yes. This one is in the $200 range.
Okay. Got it.
Our first review comes to us from Amazon customer.
Okay.
This is 5 out of 5 stars.
Whoa.
Almost a year ago purchase, but my kid still loves playing with it.
Oh.
He combines this set with others and makes monstrous creations and moving apparatuses. You will never go wrong with Lego. I should buy more Legos for him this Christmas.
That's adorable. And
It's
yes, you
very
should.
sweet.
Absolutely. Buy more Legos.
Of course. He makes monstrous creations and moving apparatuses. That might be a clue.
That might be a clue. Is it a Technic product?
It is a Technic product. Very
good. Okay, that's all I'll say on that one.
Okay.
One. Okay.
Okay. 3. You're too good at this.
I just know my
3
Legos.
stars from Nancy. Nephew put it together last night. I'm giving it 3 stars because it don't flip the engine out right. It don't flip the engine out right.
Oh no. So this is one of the Technic race cars, or just a car.
No.
Oh.
It's a Technic product.
It's a Technic product, but it's not one of the Technic cars. So it's not. Okay, my guess was it's like the Mustang.
No, it's not.
Okay. So it's not. Okay, that's interesting. And you also gave me a little extra that it's not a car.
It is not a car, which I think will maybe give it away to you what it is.
It might.
But our last review is actually a 2-star review, not a 1-star review. But this review was the most upvoted critical review on this product, and it was too good to pass up. Comes to us from Angel. Angel says, "I bought this for my uncle's child for Christmas. Your uncle's child is your cousin."
Oh, yeah.
Your uncle's child
or
is your cousin.
Your second cousin if there's like a weird family dynamic.
Maybe.
But yeah.
Still. Weird way to say it.
Yes.
Sorry. Anyway, my uncle's child is 10. He wanted to put it together right away. When he was done, it didn't work as intended. There were about 3 extra parts. He gave up on it. I figured I should try, so if it was defective, I could just return it.
Uh-huh.
Let me first say,
whoa,
I have above average intelligence.
Okay.
I'm an application software developer. I know how to read instructions. I completely disassembled it and started over from scratch. I would say 70% of the instructions were clear and easy. The instructions are pictures, so no words involved.
Right.
There were times when I was pretty sure something had been left out, but I got the pull release mechanism working and it moved. I too had 3 or so extra pieces at the end, but I don't think they were the same ones as my uncle's child. Also, the pull release is extremely slow.
The pull release?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I just have to guess the AT-AT Walker from Star Wars?
It is not the AT-AT
No!
Walker.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry. It wasn't a car, it was the stunt bike.
Ow. The pull release lever?
I think they mean like when you pull it back.
Oh,
That's
sure.
That's how you make it. Go.
Yeah.
The issue with this product seems to be that it has 2 wheels instead of 4, and so that's why it does not work as well as the cars do.
Okay.
Because for whatever reason, the 2 wheels just don't work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Anyway, I just thought it was very funny that Angel called maybe her cousin or second cousin her uncle's child.
And I have above average intelligence.
I am an application software designer.
Okay. So we're tied.
We are tied.
We're tied. So I have a bonus question.
Oh, wow.
I found one, and it only had a 1 star, and I couldn't find anything funny in the other stars. So I just had to keep it.
Okay.
If you can guess the product, you'll win all the marbles.
Wow. All the marbles.
All the marbles. I didn't get... So this is a $450 set. Okay? I will even give you that it was a limited edition set, and that's why it's so expensive. And it also wasn't that expensive on release. It's expensive now because it's in high demand. Okay, this is a 1 out of 5 stars. Title is 1 star.
Okay.
Description. I can't do it. Here we go. There were rocks in the box instead of Lego pieces. Do not purchase this item.
I want it so bad to be like a Lego like rock tumbler.
Oh.
And it's like a refill set. So it's literally just the like rocks in the box.
I wish it was something that made sense.
What
is
it?
The Lego Ideas old fishing store.
What?
It's a set that's supposed to be like a little like log cabin with like a fishing store. But there were rocks in the box instead of Lego pieces. Do not purchase this item. Some poor person spent $450 on Amazon, and they got a box of rocks.
That's the most Charlie Brown thing that ever happened in real life. Wow.
Well, we are tied. There is no winner. There was no loser. But Seth,
yeah,
we're still broke.
Boy, are we.
Let's go see if we can make an ad and do something about that.
Tally ho! Wow, Joe, I'm so glad we don't have a sponsor this week, so we can get right back to what Bradley was saying about the Lego Dark period. What?
Well, I actually did some digging, and I reached out to a few people, and I actually got a letter back from someone.
Whoa! Okay, open it up.
Yeah. Okay. It is from Evil Legos.
Evil Legos? What's that?
Well, you know how Legos are specially designed to stack together perfectly and create amazing creations?
Yeah, of course.
Well, these don't.
What do you mean?
Well, picture this.
Okay.
It's Christmas morning.
Right.
Little Timmy is on to his last Christmas present.
Yeah.
The big one. The big one. He opens it up to find the newest set of evil Legos.
Yeah,
He squeals with joy. It's the greatest moment of his life.
Yeah.
He opens it up, pours it on the ground, and that's it.
That's it?
Yep. Timmy will try every combination, every possibility to build something, but it won't do a thing.
Then what happens, Joe?
Well, now it's 2 a.m. and Dad has to go for his nightly pee. He's stumbling around the living room when suddenly, ah! Mom wakes up in a panic. She thinks someone has broken into the house, but it's Dad with 200 tiny perforations in his right foot.
Sounds like a dream come true.
No, it's horrible. Just how Evil Legos likes it. Evil Legos,
they just don't work.
then he just oh, he opens it up, and he just, and that's it. Oh.
Are you good?
Let's go talk to Bradley some more.
Okay. What is a Lego dark period, Bradley?
Yeah, I also want to know.
Ooh, okay, so this is something that I thought was unique, but actually is apparently this, I don't want to call it a psychological phenomena, but like it is,
Okay.
it's something that like happens to everybody who is a longtime lover of Legos, is that you come to a certain point in your Lego journey, I suppose, where you love it as a kid and you have all of this adoration for everything, and like new pieces might come out and you think, wow, isn't this cool? Like for me it was like new like sort of castle spires and things like that I was like, wow, isn't this amazing? I can use this now. But then after you start going away from Legos and they're not as much a part of you don't play with them or build them as much anymore, you get to a Lego dark period that for me coincided with late middle school. Surprise, surprise, a dark period in middle school.
Weird.
So like out goes the building, in comes the Green Day. But
Same.
yeah. But what it is defined by is this sort of distaste for the Legos that you see on the shelves. Like for me, it was Ninjago and like Shima or something like that. And looking at them and thinking, this is the stupidest thing I have ever seen. They spin. That's such a stupid gimmick. It's so ugly. It's such a stupid looking set. It looks like Duplo. It's more expensive. It's this and that.
Wow.
And apparently this is not a unique thing, but it is something that happens to everyone, where they go through this dark period where they have a distaste for the Legos that are coming out now and have this sort of like, oh, the good old days when I played Legos. Again, you're like 13, but like after that, there's a certain period of like a couple of years, and then after that you come out of it and you're like, oh yeah, they're fine. It's probably better because Han Solo's hair never looked like the basic Lego hair. So it makes sense why they changed it. And so you start to become more like rational about it. But yeah. So did either of you
exactly
feel
what you're talking about with the hair?
Yeah, exactly. The hair was so important. So have either of you been through this Lego dark period?
I think I completely related to what you were saying about Ninjago.
Yeah.
Specifically, I remember my brother and I, or like my brother was the one who I played Legos with growing up. And we would watch like Saturday morning cartoons and stuff, and we would see commercials for Ninjago. And then there was a Ninjago TV show at one point, I think, and we would just sit there and roast it and just like make the most fun of it. Like, what is this? What are they even doing? And it was right at the point that we both kind of stopped playing with Legos. And we were also very into Littlest Pet Shop, but we had like stopped playing with the Littlest Pet Shop. We were just sort of like, and that was middle school for me too. And so it was totally that like period, which I think maybe just like coincides with like growing up a little bit. And
it
like
really does.
It's like your first time like really like at that age in general, but you're like really experiencing like, whoa, things change.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
That sucks. That's scary.
Right, and you also kind of feel like now that you're starting to recognize you're getting older, and so those things when you were a kid, like they're supposed to be bad now. And so you just kind of maybe unconsciously think like, okay, these new things are bad because they're like the thing that I used to like when I was little.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's also a really unique sort of thing that you can monitor the progression of, unlike other things. Like, well, you brought up like Littlest Pet Shop or like Webkins or things like that, where it's like, those were fads that like came and went, and like you think, hey, remember Webkins, remember Littlest Pet Shop, but or like with something like, say, just stuffed animals in general, there's so much of a variety that like people's taste is going to like vary person to person, and it's not controlled by one thing. Whereas
Yeah.
the Lego company, has a control of all the things that come out, and they have been such a strong business for so many years that it's really interesting that this happens with people, because it doesn't happen many other places, because
Right.
it's the same
Sure.
type of toy and the same conceit in each toy, but there are subtle changes, and you get really worked up about those subtle changes, and there aren't a lot of other mediums
Totally.
that you can apply that to.
Well, I think that is a perfect segue into what I was going to talk about, because when you were talking about your Lego Dark Period, I immediately related it to Magic the Gathering, which is
Ooh,
yeah.
a
sure.
very similar thing of it's one company producing
Yeah.
its game that's loved by millions of people. And it's a deck building kind of thing.
Mhm.
So you're putting pieces together, and you get new pieces every so often in the form of sets.
I'm sure
and
people feel the same about like Pokemon.
totally. And
Yeah,
I was just
100%.
gonna say, I think I'm sort of in my Magic the Gathering Dark Period
Me too.
right now, where I'm looking at them putting Godzilla in a Magic set, and I'm like, what are they doing?
How could they do this to me?
Sellouts. This isn't
This affects me personally.
this isn't the game I grew up with.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if I can think of like a specific. I mean, I agree that Ninjago, I didn't really care for that, but I think for me a real specific memory is I picked up one of the Lego Star Wars sets that was the character from The Force Unleashed, his ship.
Okay.
And I remember building that, and I'm not sure if it's like specifically all Lego's fault, but the asymmetry of that ship, it really bothered me.
Yeah.
And I know that like after I built that, I took a long break from getting new Star Wars or new Lego stuff.
Well,
yeah.
that speaks to something kind of interesting about Legos, where they would always have these sort of like one-off sets for
Yeah.
like things that they just didn't end up exploring. Like, yeah, they had the his name's Star Killer, the
Mhm.
Star Killer ship from Force Unleashed, and they never really explored anything else in Force Unleashed. They did the same thing right when Avatar: The Last Airbender first came out, where they came out with like 2 sets, and
Oh, no
they
way.
looked terrible. They looked like Mega Blocks.
I was gonna say, I haven't heard of them. That's probably
Yeah.
why I haven't.
Yeah. Also, with shout out, I'm wearing an Earthbending t-shirt. Again,
Oh, nice.
it's such a great t-shirt for all you listeners out there.
our audio.
Oh
focus
gosh.
Are you looking at the?
Sorry,
Aren't they
I just looked
terrible?
them up really quick. Oh my
They
gosh.
look like Mega Blocks. They look just trashy.
and they're just like so, they have the ship, the Earth, or the
Zuko's
the-
like
Zuko's ship.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it was. Yeah. And if you take away the characters, that just looks like a generic ship. It has no
yeah.
like discernible thing that makes it Avatar. That's so annoying.
That sucks.
Ugh.
So bad.
It's bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
we've spent a lot of time on negativity here in the last couple
Yes.
minutes. Let's transition to something that I think we all love a lot, which is maybe at least probably my favorite Lego franchise.
Wait, let's
Yeah.
drum roll.
Oh, drum roll.
And the drum roll is gonna be...
hold on, Joe.
Oh, that's even better.
Everybody know that sound, that Christmas morning sound?
Seth, what is it?
The franchise is Bionicles. Do any of us
Bionicles!
know where the name Bionicles comes from? Because to me, I was always like, Bionic Legos. That's what it is. It's robot Legos.
There is a sect of people that believe that I don't know if it's a belief that it comes from this or that something
A religion.
they retconned
religion.
later. But biological chronicle.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, because the thing about Bionicles is that it's a very story-based franchise.
Yeah.
It's
it is.
lore heavy
Yeah.
for far more than like Lego City ever got like a story behind it.
Do
Like,
you mean the classic Adventures of Clutch Powers was not enough story for you?
But also like it now it feels like it never existed. It's so weird.
Yeah,
Like
it's crazy.
we're talking about it. It's so commonplace, but Lego doesn't really talk about it anymore, at least in my experience.
I think that
I
for
haven't-
a while were like coming out with like new by like a very new generation of Bionicles, like a complete reboot. But after that, like the 10-year cycle, it's pretty much fizzled.
Yep.
As far as I
Yeah.
know, I think that there's a big section of people that really liked where the new stuff was going, but
Sure.
But
it's not as
But
good.
yeah,
So
but there was a 10-year cycle, and now we don't talk about, or now we don't really hear about it anymore. So Bradley, tell us about what is Bionicles?
okay, the Bionicles. Oh, I don't know how I can just begin to describe Bionicles, but Bionicle was started in, I think, 2001 as a multimedia idea by the Lego company, and they are sort of buildable, robotic looking action figures
Yeah.
Right.
at its simplest. However, the thing that goes along with Bionicles is that there is attached a deep story and world building and sort of a fantastical element. But again, when I say multimedia, I think that people think of like certain things as like, oh yeah, like Star Wars is a multimedia thing, like it crosses so many mediums. But the thing is that Bionicle was built as this is the bedrock. It was going to be, there were toys, there were video games, there were flash games, which I hope we get to. There were books, there were comics, there were movies, there were shoes, there were skateboards, there were toothbrushes, it was just marketed so hard. But
Yeah,
it also
it was kind of like, sorry, it was kind of like Transformers, where it was set up as like Bionicle was the brand, and here's everything with it.
Yeah, but it also, as part of the intrigue about it, was the deep lore that went along with it. And oh man, I feel like so like filled with just happy emotions.
I know.
Because literally Bionicles, and I do not mean this hyperbolically in any way, Bionicles are one of my favorite things. Like in the same way of like, not just like toys or things to read or things, just like things. And that's the beauty of a multimedia like platform, is that you can love just this thing. But it is one of my favorite things in the same way that like I feel about like Winnie the Pooh is one of my favorite things. Not just like the Tigger movie is one of my favorite movies or whatever, but it's one of my favorite things. It brings me so much joy, and it has been so foundational in who I am as a person now, which is kind of crazy to say about like, you know, per plastic canister about 60 pieces of other plastic that you put together. But like, I cannot say how profoundly Bionicle is like, just brings me so much life and soul.
Yeah, and I think it's so unique, especially looking back now, and the place that the toy industry sort of is at as a whole. We used to be in this world where it seemed like, you know, like toys got made maybe based off comics or books, but mostly like toys got made, and then maybe comics or books came, and then maybe we got a movie based on a toy, but that was a lot. Now it sort of feels like we're in a world where it's like you have these movies, and then underneath the movies are just all these comics and books and toys.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
just like that's all toy companies are interested in making. You don't see this like this innovation, this creative like big risk, because like if Bionicles had failed, the Lego company spent billions of dollars on it. Like you know, it's a hell of a risk to take, but it paid off so huge, and it was a huge part of I think all of our childhoods, and I think a lot of people like our age, like broadly, it was a part of all of our childhoods.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Because again, it was a multimedia company. It was everywhere.
Yeah,
There were shirts, there were shoes, there were like going to like Legoland, which again, that was like going to Legoland in like second grade. That was like Mecca.
Yeah.
Like that was a pilgrimage to go to Legoland, like this thing that like I only imagined in my mind. And seeing Bionicles there that weren't on the shelves other places.
Wow.
This was, and when I went, this was when the Baraki when Mari Nui, the underwater stuff was coming out. And so I got to get one of the Baraki like before it was like at my local Target, which was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, Bionicles were part of how I like learned to love reading.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the series of books, which I think to this day were well written and thoroughly enjoyable, and helped fill you in on the lore. But I would sit there on the floor of my room and I would read the book. And then I would go over to my Bionicles that I had, and then I would try to find each character. Yeah. Or, I didn't have all the characters, so I'd find a similarly colored character to, like, stand in. And then I'd reenact the scene in the book, and I could spend a whole day just sitting on the floor of my room reading, which, like, for a kid growing up in the age of video games, that's pretty impressive that something could grab my attention like that. And I think without Bionicles, I would not maybe be the avid reader that I've become.
Sure. Yeah. And in the same vein, how much of that writing in both the books and the comics and even on like the Flash games that they put in, and also in the movies, but how much energy they put into that stuff, it sparked in you a love of reading, but for me it sparked a love of lore and watching world building, and also to this day, because of how I want to try and figure out a way to say this that doesn't sound like not so good, but it has given me a love of categorizing things, and not in a like high stakes like way of like you belong here or something like that, but more in the sense of like fiction. I'm always intrigued by pieces of fiction where there are groups or where different people, like the Divergent series. Sure. I've never read the Divergent series. I only saw the first movie like once, but that intrigued me because it was like the 4 different sects have their own things, and because of Bionicle. And Bionicle had that beautiful structure of like there are 6 Koros and there are 6 Toa that have their different elemental abilities, their different mask powers, and so I loved the different aesthetics of each place, because it also, trying to choose a favorite like Koro of Bionicle would be like choosing between my children. Like I could not do it because I love each of them differently. It's not like something I can't think of a good example, but something that is more, maybe you guys can help me, like Star Trek. Star Trek has like a certain aesthetic to the Enterprise, and a lot of people who like Star Trek really like that uniform sense to what the Enterprise looks like in their favorite iteration of Star Trek. But with Bionicle, it was on Matanui, on the island, there were the 6 different biomes, and it's given me a love of any piece of media with different biomes. It's why Skyrim frustrates me. But they have so many different biomes. Like they have Lee Koro, which is the lush forest and the jungle, Onu Koro, which is underground tunnels, and Po Koro, which is desert, Ta Koro, volcanoes, Ko Koro, mountains, Ga Koro in the water. It's just magnificent.
Even if Bradley's not a Lego expert, he's certainly a Bionicles expert.
If I am not a Lego expert, I could be classified as definitely the earlier on Bionicles an expert.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, Bionicles, I had a few of them. And here's where I'm gonna start like looking like an idiot, because I don't know what to call any of them.
I'll tell you what they're called.
Okay, I had a few of the roly-poly ones.
Borak.
That like
Borak Cal.
Okay, the ones that like shot out their neck and were the coolest thing.
Yep. And
yes,
the Krana.
I loved those. Yeah.
Oh,
those are my favorites. I loved like transforming them and then rolling them and then extending them out. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
But my best friend growing up, and I'm talking like really young, he had all of the toys and all of the movies and video games, and I would go over to his house and play them. So it's weird. This, for me, Bionicles is more of a secondary nostalgia, where I think about his childhood and me like hanging out with my friend growing up and playing that with him. But for me, I mean, I liked the Bionicles, but I was much more of a Lego kid growing up. So I'm curious what gravitated you to Bionicles more so than Legos?
I really don't know if it's more so than Legos, because I have two different sections of my brain that are devoted to each one,
Sure.
but they both served really different purposes, because Legos were really good fuels for imagination. And there was that spark of like, okay, I can make these games that I play outside, I can take those and make them into Legos. And I can,
Sure.
because I could draw a little bit, but I always got very frustrated with drawing as a kid because well, again, I wasn't very good. Also, didn't need to be. Another thing I hate about adulthood is that I am self-conscious about drawing. It's like, I just want to be able to draw without care of being good. But that was what Legos fulfilled, was this visualization and this imagination, because it could be something completely new, but then also building upon something that already existed, like Star Wars, like one day pretending that I was a bunch of clones on a mission against whatever. Whereas
Sure.
Bionicles really sparked a different thing in my mind that was more based in discovery and more about diving deep into one thing that seemed boundless. Because, and it still feels this way in my mind, because I am not, that's the thing, is that I am more of an expert on Bionicles than many people around me, I'm sure, but I still feel like I haven't scratched the surface. I still want to go back, and I'm actually in the process of rereading the Bionicle comics. And
Oh,
so
wow, I forgot about the comics. The comics were so good.
yeah, they came with the Lego Club magazine. And so I've been
Right.
rereading those because a friend of mine was like taking them out of their attic, and so I just said, please give them to me, and he gave them to me for free. Like, I have never
Wow.
gotten such a valuable thing for free. But that definitely sparked in me more of a want to like dive into a world that was created and had lore, and that has sparked in me a different curiosity now that I have grown, allegedly, of like coming across something's lore. Like, I was for a very long time very interested in Egyptian mythology, and it was probably because of Bionicle, because of looking into that, like, okay, this was Matanui, this was Makuta, this was the Morbazak, this was the masks, these are the Kanohi discs, and these different things that have meaning and a new language. And I'm sure that this is very similar to how people felt when they first discovered Lord of the Rings, because I was never someone who read Lord of the Rings. I've never read Lord of the Rings. I've seen Lord of the Rings.
Well, we will not invite you back for our Lord of the Rings episode.
That's probably good. That's the thing. My family, Lord of the Rings experts. You could ask my grandmother is like Stephen Colbert levels, like just insane.
Wow.
But I'm like, with the intense amount of like world building that Tolkien did, I imagine that someone discovering that is a similar feeling to me discovering Bionicle and the lore of Bionicle and the world that was made, that was so exciting and so huge and so just inspiring.
So I'm gonna make a tenuous connection to the human experience, which if you know
Yes.
anything about what I do on this show, it's only making tenuous connections to the human experience. But Bradley has recently completed a Bachelor of Arts at the University of Minnesota.
I have.
Congratulations, you had your
Thank
last
you,
class
thank
today.
you.
Congratulations.
I'm graduating later this week over Zoom.
You know, wonderful. Gotta love this world we live in.
Woo!
And you completed a theater degree, correct?
I did.
Yes. So as an actor, so I think it's obvious how Lego sort of sparks it can relate to being an actor, sparking the creativity, the storytelling, the playing with Legos. That's something Joe and I think both have done as well, and I think that totally translates for all of us into acting. The thing that I think is interesting about Bionicle is that it's research. That's deep research. That's college student level research. That's like researching a thesis.
Yeah.
Or still in the acting world, that's researching your character. That's putting into legwork to not just be playing around, but to be well informed about the thing that you're doing. And I think what Bionicles has taught you is loving the information gathering. Like,
yes,
you're
absolutely.
You don't need a positive outcome of all this information. You enjoy simply the information.
Just the information and just knowing it and just feeling enriched by having it. Absolutely. And not just, you mentioned like character research, but it also that extra step of not just character research, but like the character's surroundings and like figuring out the place that they were and what type of culture they come from and that type of thing. Yeah, I guarantee that type of research and information gathering really affected me as an actor, because I love the research side of it. I love the reading. I love memorizing. I love that section of acting, and I'm sure that Bionicles had an influence in that.
It's such a powerful franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to the Lego
Thank you, Greg Farshty, the writer of the comics and the books.
Wow.
Shout out to Greg
Shout
Farshty.
out Greg Farshty.
It's us again, back in the present. Wow, we had such a great conversation with Bradley. Thank you so much, Bradley, for coming on the show and talking with us all about Legos. It was a blast.
We had so much of a blast, we had to split the episode into 2 parts. And that's been a really fun experiment for us. Thank you all for bearing with us through that. If you liked that kind of format, maybe we'll do some more of that in the future. I don't know, Joe.
Yeah, we definitely always have way more content to talk about than we can fit in an hour-and-a-half segment.
So leave us a comment if you liked that. Shoot us an email at thelonelyfanboys@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at @TLF_pod. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring the bell to be notified. And if you do that, you'll be like our newest subscriber, Bradley Johnson. Is it the same Bradley Johnson that was just on the episode? I'll never tell. Thank you once again to Alight the Night for our theme song, Consequences.
Everyone, keep building the building blocks that build upon the bricks that you build to the future of building bricks.
Beautiful.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.